This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, brought to you by the Iowa Soybean Association, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers, right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning broadcast team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Mark Magnuson.
Hello and welcome into Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Mark Magnuson. Today is Wednesday, September 25th, 2024, and we're so glad you can join us for today's show. In today's episode, I'm joined by Bryan Perry. He is the head of U.S. Seeds and Traits with BASF, and we will have Bryan coming up here on the show in just a moment. But first, let's hear from our sponsor, the Iowa Soybean Association and the Soybean Checkoff. You're watching Ag Matters PM.
Iowa Soybean Association is driven to deliver for Iowa's 40,000 soybean farmers. We're proud to provide objective agronomic research, a helping hand with soil and water stewardship, and timely industry news powered by the Soybean Checkoff. Learn more at iasoybeans.com.
On today's episode of AM/PM, I am joined by Bryan Perry. He is the head of U.S. Seeds and Traits with BASF. Excited to talk to Bryan about all the new technology at BASF that they are looking forward to getting in the bag for 2025.
Mark Magnuson for the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm here today with Bryan Perry. We are at BASF at the Farm Progress Show 2024. And Bryan, could you tell me, please, your role within BASF?
Yeah, Mark, I have the privilege of heading up our U.S. Seeds and Traits business at BASF.
And I know for BASF this year, you guys have worked very hard with your trials. You've had a lot of trials running this year. Could you tell us kind of the scope of the operation, please?
Yeah, I know that from a total perspective on trials, and this is where Brady Spangenberg talked a little bit, over 2,000 plus trials just on the soybean side alone. In fact, actually, we've got 5,000 trials we've done here on our soybean genetics. I would be off on the exact number on all the thousands of acres that we've done in the U.S., but really the takeaway is focusing on our breeding work, our research work, taking it all the way down to the farmers so that we know they perform in their backyard.
And that is a point that I've heard a lot from another person on your team, Bill Backus, who, talks about getting the right soybeans for a specific field for a farmer. And how important is that to BASF to get that dialed in so you can be the most efficient as possible?
Yeah, for us, it's not just about the products, it's how they get used. So we spend a lot of time going back to the research side to think about seed placement. Fun fact, if you look at the Farmers Independent Research of Seed Technologies trials, so this is a third-party group we believe in using so that's part of the 5,000 trials on soybeans. The difference between the top-yielding soybean variety and the last-place soybean variety is about 20 bushels. So if you're a grower, you've got the exact same investment tied up in the acre, but you lost 20 bushels because you made a bad decision. So we've spent a lot of time researching our varieties, how they perform, where they fit, to ensure that not only are you getting a high-quality soybean seed, you're putting the right bean on the right acre.
And the soybeans we're standing in front of here today at the BASF exhibit, the new Sitavo soybeans, what are you looking forward to about what we're looking at here today?
Well, what we're really excited about, and it's drawn us back to Farm Progress, the first time we've been here in the past 14 years as an exhibitor, is an entirely new breeding program that we're launching in the United States for soybean growers. Today, 98% of all the soybean genetics sold into the market comes out of 4 major breeding programs. So BASF will be the 5th, and that's important because you need genetic diversity to help push yields higher, to help diversify risk within growers' operations. So for our Sitavo soybean brand in 2025, we have 12 new varieties that will be coming out for the first time ever out of our breeding program. And all the varieties, as you can see, are right here behind us, and they're looking great.
Thank you to Bryan Perry of BASF for joining today's show. You can find that full interview with Bryan by clicking on the link, which is located right about here. It is time now for our closing market summary, and we are joined by Kenan Layden of agmarket.net. At the end of another trading day, we are joined now by Kenan Layden of agmarket.net for our closing market summary. Kenan, we saw a lot of price movement to the upside to begin this week. Did that continue here today on Wednesday?
Yeah, good day in the grain commodities. It's green pretty much across the board from wheat, corn, soys, and then the leader on the day was soy oil.
And Kim, when we talk about that price movement to the upside and being almost across the board on the commodities, several current factors right now that seem to be playing into that. Could you tell us around the world kind of what's happening right now to help these prices move to the upside?
Yeah, so later today was soy oil, and there was a bipartisan bill introduced into the legislature to disqualify some of the feedstocks coming into the U.S. for tax credit. And this would include used cooking oil, which is currently being used for biodiesel. Used cooking oil does not qualify for REN credits. Why would you import it, thus stimulating domestic demand? Chinese economy has had some stimulation from their central bank. So you think Chinese economy being stimulated, possible more grain demand from foreign exporters such as the U.S. And then everyone's watching Brazil weather. And until that, has a, good rain there, the market's going to price in some risk premium into the markets.
And I know there's always several things to think about when we think about the country of Brazil. One, it is just so big. It's a lot like the United States where, hey, if the weather is like, if it's raining in one area, that might not necessarily be the case on the other side of the country. We know that. And then also with Brazil, right now, just watching that planning progress, yes, they're a little bit behind, but there's still a lot of time to make up ground. So it's not necessarily the case that this is going to be a long-term situation. It could change in a hurry, couldn't it?
Yeah. Some of the weather services we subscribe to, have shown years where Brazil started out, similar dry to what it is now, and then they finished with an above trend line yield. So market will price in the risk premium, but it can go away pretty fast if those monsoon rains start coming in here the next month.
Let's go over to the other side of the ag marketplace in the livestock complex, where the cattle and hogs also able to see some positive price movement today.
Feeder cattle were able to see some positive price movement. Some of the front month live cattle contracts were down slightly, with some of the back months being up. And then hog contracts, most of them were down slightly across the board ahead of this quarterly hog producer report that will be released tomorrow.
And then back to your point about the Chinese economy, Kenan, if they get the stimulus package that helps the economy get the ball rolling a little bit more, that can only be good news for our export markets, isn't it? Because we know that when there's more money to spend, they could be buying some more of those exports.
Yep, that's hit the nail on the head there. If they're looking for higher quality, more protein-rich foods, and their economy's being stimulated, that should drive more animal protein imports into the country.
Kenan Layden of agmarket.net, our guest here on Wednesday. Kenan, what's the best way for our listeners, our viewers, to get in touch for more marketing information?
Yeah, just check us out on the web at agmarket.net and find a broker in your area. And if you're interested in market information, sign up on the website.
Lots of great resources from the team at agmarket.net. Kenan, thanks so much for the time. Have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, Mark.
That was Kenan Layden of agmarket.net. Let's take a look now at the closing numbers, which you can find anytime by clicking on the market tab of our website at iowaagnet.com.
December corn closes up 3.5 at $4.15 1/4. November soybeans up 11 even at $10.53 1/4. October soybean meal up $2.50 at $3.26.10. October soybean oil up 43 cents at $44.38. Chicago wheat up 11 1/4 at $5.89 1/4. Minneapolis wheat up 5 1/4 at $6.17 even. Kansas City hard red wheat up 10 even at $5.81 even. December oats are up 6 1/4 at $3.71 1/4. On the Merc, October live cattle down 15 cents at $183.05. October feeder cattle up 22 cents at $246.02. October lean hogs up 35 cents at $82.47. October pork cutout down 7 cents at $91.67. Class 3 milk up 14 cents at $23.42.
That wraps up our market coverage for today here on Ag Matters PM, and that brings us to the end of today's episode. You can find all of our content on our website at iowaagnet.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Click on the notification bell as well, as that will let you know whenever we have any new content available for you. You can follow us on social media at Facebook, X, TikTok, and LinkedIn. And don't forget to listen to our morning, midday, and closing market podcast, which can be found on Apple, Amazon, Google, Spotify, and Podbean. From the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network studios in Des Moines, I'm Mark Magnuson. For Dustin Huffman, Riley Smith, and Andy Peterson, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.